Hello, my name is Father Demetri, and I know I haven't been on for a couple days. A lot of services, been really busy taking care of some things, and but today I got a chance to come into the office, and I'm just wanted to talk about something. Um, One of the people that I definitely learn a lot from uh, about God is actually my son, and I've said this before. I learn a lot from him. I learn what it is to be a father. And I believe, and I understand now, and I'm beginning to understand now what it is and what it means that how God looks at us. Of course, I don't have the mind of God, but I'm trying to move forward and trying to understand what God wants of us. And it was interesting. One day, my son was doing something. He was just making a noise or something like that. And I told him, I said, "Don't make that noise, please. We're doing something. We don't make that noise." So he kept on doing it. I told him again, "Don't do it." And after a couple minutes, he started changing the noise and doing whatever. You know how kids are. And I told him, I said, "Okay, well, you've lost the privilege now. You won't be able to do anything, the thing that you wanted to do tonight." And he looks at me. He says, "Well, I knew that I was going to get in trouble, but I did it anyway." And I said, "Well, did you not believe me when I told you? Did you not believe me when I said that you're going to get in trouble if you continue doing that noise?" And I realized that it was not a noise, but sometimes I think I'm a little bit too lax, a little bit too easygoing on my son, because I'm a little bit older now. I'm not in my 20s anymore, and I've got a younger child now, being in my mid 40s, and I think I'm a little bit too lax on him, because a lot of times he keeps pushing, and he thinks he's going to get away with it. And a lot of times he does, and really that's my failing. It's my failing for me to do those things. And I think that is the problem sometimes with our world, is that we who are human beings in this world, we don't believe God. God has warned us over and over again. We read it in the scriptures. Of course, we have the scriptures. We have different viewpoints of four different men that wrote the Gospels. And basically what Jesus said, so a lot of those really, really important things are said numerous times. Each one of them heard it. And, St. Paul talks about it as well. He tells us, it's a fearful and dreadful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. If we don't serve, if we don't believe in God, if we don't follow after him and do our best to become the men and women that we are supposed to be, especially when we start gaining wisdom and we start gaining knowledge and we start gaining what it is that we're supposed to be, more is actually required of us. And when we sin, it's even graver than it is if you don't know any better. Because a lot of times when I make mistakes and I fail, it's not that I don't believe God, but sometimes my temptation gets the best of me and I do it, and then I regret it afterward. But seeing the state of the world now, and I truly believe that people are at that point, and people have been like this throughout all the generations, but they're asking, where is God? Where is that promise that he's been saying to us? We don't believe that there's going to be any sort of wrath. We don't believe that there's going to be any sort of retribution for how we act. We can live however we want. And it's very interesting that, we who love the light, we cherish it. We want to be in the light. We want to be and dwell and bask in that holiness and that purity and that love. And it's unfortunate now that as I'm living and getting older and seeing all the things that are happening, especially this year in 2020, there are so many people that are actually in love with the darkness, the darkness that the world has to give. And it's a very scary place. It's a very terrifying place to be in the world right now. And if it wasn't for my faith, if it wasn't for God and everything that he does for us, I would have already lost my mind. But I trust in him. I know that his promise is true. I can feel it in my heart. I know that his promise is sincere. I believe in what he tells us. I believe that he's going to return one day. I hope it's during my lifetime. It might not be. It might not be for another few generations. But whatever the case is, I definitely would rather go to my grave hoping and wondering and understanding that there's a promise for me that God will return and claim his people and bring us home. I would rather go to my grave knowing that than believing what the world is saying right now, that there is no God. And people have said that God is dead. And to me, God is alive and well. He is on the throne. He's in control. Even though the world seems chaotic right now, I trust God. And those days where I become wavered, and those days where I shake, and those days where I'm afraid, I just put my faith in God, and I start praying, and I start worshiping the Lord, and I start looking towards him, and I start believing in his promise. And I tell it to myself, I even recite it to myself, that I need to seek first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, and everything will be added unto me. Everything will be added to me while we are in heaven. We will be in a place where there's no more tears, no more suffering, no more pain, and we will get to be with him forevermore. So until the next time, may the Lord bless you and protect you and keep you safe always.